There are over 305 million vehicles on the streets today. Just to be conservative, let's say each vehicle is a sedan. Then each sedan would produce 66 tons of CO2 in its lifetime. You don't need me to calculate 305 million times 66 tons of CO2 to know that that's an astronomically large number. Gas cars, in their current iteration, aren't just working, and we need a solution for this kind of pollution. Yeah, sure, you may have electric cars. They are more eco-friendly, but they're only as good as the way that their batteries get produced. For every one electric car being made, you can make a gas car and use it for 18 months. With the only increasing prices for gas and the rare materials for these electric cars only getting rarer, our current way of getting around has some serious issues. Too bad we can't just use water-powered cars. Or can we? See, I wanted to look into this because people make it sound so magical. Water-powered cars, on cartoons, people talking about it on TV, even people fantasizing about a perfect world mention water-powered cars. And the term is so prominent that there are even many people suddenly disappearing after making a so-called water-powered car. But instead of looking at this like it's just fiction, I wanted to go through and see the scientific process if we were going to try and make a water-powered car. Now, water is a great compound. It single-handedly holds the planet's life. But water is just like, it's not a fuel. You can't burn it for energy, and you also can't store electricity with water. But water itself is not just water. It's a compound, and that's where we start to find some traction. Water is made up of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, and oxygen is obviously important because it's used for combustion, but hydrogen is that special bit. Unlike the water it was found in, hydrogen is flammable, and when you burn it with oxygen, then there's no surprise that the only thing you get back out of it is water. This is a huge step for everything transportation. But what I haven't talked about yet is how are we actually going to get the hydrogen from this water. This is where a process called electrolysis comes into play, where we use electricity to split the water into the gases we need. And all you need is a machine, a water, some power, and electrolyzer to make it so that the water is more efficient and that it actually turns into a lot of hydrogen. You can't just electrocute the water though, and there's a lot of process that you have to do, and there's a bunch of different machines, but the simplest one is with 2 forks, a bowl, and some baking soda. This burn is carbon friendly, environmentally friendly, oh my god, very, very friendly. But what I haven't talked about yet, which is probably the main thing with hydrogen, is that you can use gas cars to run on hydrogen just by changing the intake, or the part where fuel and air enter the engine. Now, there are a few issues currently with hydrogen that's limiting us from having a bold green future. And one of them I talked about was that hydrogen is not being made like electrolysis, like I talked about earlier. Also, transporting hydrogen is like really hard. You either have to put it into a pipeline, or you have to make it really cold inside of a truck. Now, hydrogen isn't being made how I talked about earlier, and most of the hydrogen we do have is from gas and coal processes, which is like not even environmentally friendly. It would ruin my whole argument. But the solution to this problem is right in front of us. If we can put these electrolysis machines at the gas stations with water, power, and electrolyzer, pretty easy for gas stations to get, then we can cut out this transportation, all this complex nonsense out at all. Now, we're not just talking about a sci-fi future with hydrogen cars. We're talking about a real solution hiding in plain sight and something as abundant as water. If we can rethink how we make and deliver hydrogen, we don't just change our fuel problem, we begin to redefine how we move, how we live, and how we protect our planet. Thank you.